Welcome to Chai with Manjula. Our guest today was voted India's most admired and most trusted woman. As the first female police officer of the country, she dauntlessly fought corruption, initiated phenomenal prison reforms, and became a legendary figure who received numerous prestigious awards, including the Magsaysay, which is called Asia's Nobel Prize. She won international acclaim for 35 years of tough, innovative, and welfare policing, and for her ruthlessly impartial enforcement of law. She has worked with the United Nations as police advisor to the Secretary General in the Department of Peacekeeping Operations. She is an author, an anchor of radio and TV programs, and a highly sought-after speaker on social, professional, and leadership issues. Before we meet her, I would like to show you the trailer of an award-winning documentary film called Yes, Madam, Sir, which is based on her life.
She joined the police force in the 70s, and she's made waves and enemies.
When she qualified in the police service, all hell broke loose.
Towed away Indira Gandhi's car. That was a bit cheeky, wasn't it?
All these brave young men noticed there was a braver girl. And this is dangerous.
She is Kiran Bedi.
When I changed the face of the prison, they were jealous. When I exposed corruption in the police, I embarrassed them.
There is an unholy nexus between police, politicians and criminals.
These are powerful people, and there's a high price for going against them. I had to learn not to trust most of my seniors, and certainly never my peers.
You know, most of your seniors colleagues would like to see you buried 200 feet below.
My enemies would love to see me fail, and instead I emerged with international acclaim. Work has been my priority, and my family just got as much as I thought they needed.
What were you doing chasing a mob single-handedly in the middle of Delhi?
She's very strong, very courageous, very naive. She does have a temper. She's everything. It's all Kiran Bedi.
I'm simply honored to have Dr. Kiran Bedi here. With Dr. Bedi, we have another guest, Anu Peshawaria, her sister, who is based in Fremont, California. Anu is the first appointed legal advisor to the Indian Embassy in Washington, D.C., a social worker and founder of Seva Legal Aid in the U.S., which is a project of India Vision Foundation, and author of the book Immigrant's Dream. Anu is also the recipient of numerous prestigious awards for her social work as well. Kiran and Anu work together on several initiatives through their own nonprofit organizations. And another amazing fact is that both sisters were national tennis champions. While Kiran also won the Asian Tennis Championship, Anu went on to be a Wimbledon player. Kiran and Anu, welcome to Chai with Manjula. It's certainly a pleasure and a privilege to have you here today.
Thank you.
We have a lot to talk about, and I'll start with the biggest threat facing the world today, the threat of terrorism. Kiran, when you were in charge of the Har Jail, which is one of Asia's largest and toughest prisons, you had phenomenal success with innovative prison reforms and with transforming lives. You have also worked with the UN in the Department of Peacekeeping Operations. What kind of approach and measures do you recommend towards prevention of terrorism around the world?
Well, there is no one-point program. It's very holistic criminal justice system which works.
Okay.
You see, it's from civil society to law enforcement to delivery of justice. Mm-hmm. So there is civil society involved which is watching each other. Alert civil society is a big prevention. Okay. What does society want? If society wants peace, then it would be alert to what's happening around it. It'll trust the police. Police is worthy of the trust. It'll inform the police or give evidence in case of need. then you have a system of policing which responds and is trusted and has the intelligence wherewithal. It has got the technology, right, to connect the evidence, because you can't hang people just because you suspect anybody. You have to prove it.
Right.
So you have to have evidence, which again comes from civil society and the technology advances of the police law enforcement. It has to have the capacity, the intelligence networks. And then once it has the evidence, you have the courts to try the culprits faster, right? But most of all, it is also spreading humanity and harmony in humanity as around, narrowing the gaps between the haves and the have-nots. Being very careful in the words we use, we don't spread hatred and biases and prejudices. See, all these factors help bring down terrorism. You take out anything, any one aspect of it, you have civil society which doesn't cooperate, it is selfish. You have inefficient policing system which is not trusted. You have a delayed criminal justice system which doesn't deliver. Or you have hatred going around in society and the political leaders talking about dividing people amongst races, castes, regions, etc. You will have nothing but increase of terrorism. And you have the increasing regional divide, the digital divide, the economic divide, the caste divide, religious divide. It doesn't help. That's the point. So when you attack terrorism, you have to play, everybody has to play a role in whatever they are, whether they're politicians, whether they're members of a civil society, whether they're parents or they're teachers or religious preachers, right? All this, or systems or professionals, public officials, whoever is in whatever place has a role if you want terrorism to fall. But if everybody feels it's somebody else's role first, mine later, well then you will only have nothing but increase of terrorism.
So a holistic approach and a humanitarian approach.
Correct.
I know you took a very humanitarian approach there. It said that you turned the hard jail into an ashram, which is considered a spiritual place. And, you know, oftentimes even in the US we see that once prisoners come out, they repeat their crimes. And they sometimes become even a bigger threat to society. So what kind of reforms did you find most effective, and have some of your reforms been followed by other prisons in and outside of India?
Manjula, we need to understand, why does a prisoner who comes from a prison come back to commit crime again? Why? Because the time he has spent in the prison was just a holding place. It was not a reformative place. If you're just holding people, then you're actually animalizing them, or making them brutish. But if you're reforming them, then humanizing them and sending them as corrected human beings. It's the time which they spend inside the prison which is vital to either dry clean or contaminate. Right? So that's what I did in Tihar prisons in Delhi, which is Asia's largest prison, in the Asia Pacific. We made sure that anybody who was in the prison used the time to be reformed rather than deformed. Right? So, and how did we do a reform process? Through education, through meditation programs, through yoga, through sports, through intercommunal harmony, right? Through self-reflection, right? Through self-audit, through huge amount of literacy and education and moral values, not conversion of religions, but to understand that in the end, it's all the path of peace, which makes you happy and settled. So I think that's what transformed. But otherwise, it's a very dangerous situation if you don't use the time well for the prisoners. So mine was nothing but quality time management inside the prison, where you just left on your own, locked up, to be with yourself. You will have nothing but prison rapes, nothing but prison violence. What do they do after that? It's nothing but raping society again, or ripping apart society. See? So I think that's the key, is that it's the duty of the powers that be, the prison administrators, the governors, is to ensure they create systems of time management correctly inside the prison for every prisoner, which does not necessarily mean more budgets. Do the prison model the way we did. We involved non-profit organizations, we involved civil society from outside to come and support the programs from within at no cost basis.
Oh, that's
it was
a wonderful
like
idea.
serving the community. I had hundreds of NGOs, non-profit organizations, collectively and individually coming into the Tihar prisons during my time when we transformed the prison to come and serve, to teach, to counsel, to help meditate, to run festivals, provide job works, provide skills training. Indian universities opening up branches inside the prison, like the Indira Gandhi National Open University inside. So we brought in universities, we brought in schools, we brought in teachers, we brought in social workers, we want health workers at no cost to the government.
Wonderful. So that's a very innovative approach that the world can learn from.
Yes.
And I also heard that some of your reforms are being studied.
Yes. Well, first of all, I wrote a book on this called It's Always Possible.
Okay. It's about the prison reforms?
Yes. It's a whole document on, it's a solid book on It's Always Possible.
Okay.
This was a postdoctoral work of mine as a project of the Nehru Scholarship, which I got. And then I wrote this because I knew it would probably never get written again, because the way we all communitized, the way we evolved a model called the 3C model, called collective, corrective, community-based model.
Okay.
I've given the modeling, that model being replicated. It is an Italian course in Milan University.
Okay, that's
it's been
what I
translated in
read.
Italian. This book is into publication in Spanish. It's been translated into Bhasha, plus other languages. So this is, and it's an all India program now.
Okay.
And it is also the law. Whatever we did in the Indian Delhi prisons of Tihar jail, these are now national policies in India.
Okay.
Vipassana meditation and art of living and other programs are now being asked to be delivered in Indian prisons around the country. And so are NGOs allowed. NGOs are allowed if the prison authorities allow. So they're not barred, they're not banned, nor is media banned. Media can be allowed inside the prison as long as it doesn't glorify criminal. So it is now being replicated around the country and around the world in many places.
Significant.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, with Kiran, we also have our sister Anu Peshawaria, who lives right here in the Bay Area in Fremont, California. And Anu works with Kiran on a lot of initiatives, social initiatives. Anu, when did you come to the U.S. and what have you been doing all these years?
Well, I moved here about 8-10 years ago. I was a practicing lawyer in India in the Supreme Court. And I used to do a number of cases for women and issues facing the country, bringing about changes in the laws, a lot of PILs in the Supreme Court. And I also used to assist when my sister started the India Vision Foundation in cases for poor people. So when I moved to the United States, I saw an altogether different picture of what I thought about United States. People yearn to come to America. People think this is the best place in the world. But when I came and saw a different kind of an abuse in the United States, and the immigrants that I saw suffering was amazing. I think people, when they move to the United States, they do not know that one of them usually comes on a dependent visa. The other person has a long queue for a green card. So most of them do not have the liberties to do so many things here. It takes them almost 10 to 15 years to pick up their head and even be equal to another US citizen. The dependent visa does not have any right to work. So most of those women who are very educated staying at home, and half of them cannot work anywhere, and if there is any domestic violence at home, or if there is any disagreement, and any one of them wants to take a divorce here, even if he's on a visitor, he could come in 2 months and file papers. So in a place like India, where marriage is sanctity and it takes years to build that up, and in India, lots of men, parents spend a lot of dowry and money to women because they think the man is going to take care of them. They come here in 2 months, they get a divorce. So the Indian government tried its best to do this and say we would not ratify this in India, but at the same time it's still going on. The laws between the two countries don't match, and that's why I wrote that book, The Immigrant Dream, because I did so many cases with these women. Every day I had a case, and from most of the United States I get calls every day from different
parts.
And then you
ran the Seva Legal Aid camp?
And then we started the Seva Legal Aid camps. Why we did the camps was we would go from place to place and do workshops, apprising people that the laws in India still benefit you. So you could still file a complaint in India under their sections 498A and get help from the government. And that's how I recently got appointed as the legal advisor to the government of India and to the Washington Embassy. So I started this project, Save a Legal Aid here, and I wrote this book, Immigrant Dream. And now I'm further doing a lot of research on the laws between India and United States. What should be passed so that the laws in both of the countries synchronize with each other, and they do not, these women don't fall through the cracks.
Now, both of you work together on certain initiatives also. So tell us about that. How are you carrying Kiran's work sitting over here in the U.S.? How do you two work together, and what are those initiatives, and who is benefiting from them? What's the mission?
Well, the India Vision Foundation, which Didi founded in India, I started a chapter of that here called the India Vision Foundation USA.
I see.
And what we do is raise awareness of the programs which she does in India.
And what are the programs, Kiran?
Oh, there are many. It's education of prisoners' children.
Okay.
It's training women inside the prison also. It's like stopping the revolving door.
I see.
Saving the next victim. That's what India Vision. But then it expanded into rural education, environment issues. And the latest now is community colleges, which is huge in the States, but it's just started as a movement in India. We are taking off this movement. This community college is registered with the world's largest open university called the Indira Gandhi National Open University. So that means all the vocational courses, educational vocational courses which we conduct for the poor, for the bottom of the pyramid, on a very small fee, very subsidized education, but very high quality. The children, the boys, the dropouts, those children who do these programs from this community college become employable. They get a degree and they can look for jobs, or they can become entrepreneurs themselves. So this is the latest program of India Vision Foundation.
I see.
Our program is make this into a replicable model in Delhi and Haryana, and then expand it, make it pan-India, because India is in need of 400 million jobs. Half of India is young and waiting to be employed. So we are needing 400 million employable jobs, because this is the age group of 18 to 25 so it's all looking for jobs. So we have to look for employable hands. Now in this, we're looking at, by this pan-India community college movement, we at least make 10 to 20 million entrepreneurs employable, who further employs 10 others or 5 others, which makes a critical mass of employable youth. So I think that's the real challenge which India Vision Foundation, both the US and India chapter, are planning to work, bring in NRIs together to encourage the movement of opening community college, which means vocational schools. India has just 5,000 ITIs. China has 500,000 vocational schools. So India actually provides a vocational education just to 4%. I wanted to raise the level to at least 60 to 70%, because every human being productive means more contribution to national wealth. Every human being unemployed means more consumption and drain on the national wealth. So it's important. In India is one of the youngest nations today in the world, youngest nation after China. Still, youngest as number one, because Indian youth is the youngest in age right now. It's got a big youth bulge. Therefore, our joint endeavor now, along with Indians for Collective Action. We have worked with them in Indians for Collective Action. We were with them, who called me, and we are joining hands along with Foundation for Excellence. We're trying to bring the rest of the Indian community to save India, to make India employable.
I also read that you have some scholarship and internship programs. As you may have noticed, the younger generation of Indo-Americans is very much into development work in India. Do you have provision for them to do internship there with your initiative?
Always welcome. Yes. We do invite internships. And there's scope for internships, both internship with her at the Fremont, where Anu lives. So Anu with internships with Anu in Fremont, internships with me in New Delhi and Haryana. They could apply through kiranbedi.com.
Kiran, you have also been writing books. So tell us about some of them.
Well, I wrote my biography after my PhD in 1983. I got in the habit of regular writing, and that's what PhD does. It gets into the mood of research and writing, very organized thinking. So I wrote my book, I Dare, it's an autobiography. It's been regularly updated. So it's been the longest successful autobiography in India, the maximum selling. It's a Hay House publication. And then I wrote It's Always Possible, which documents the entire transformation of the how of the Indian prison system. So I've written the what and the how.
Okay.
And then I write regularly fortnightly columns from my family counseling centers. So that's a book called What Went Wrong. Then another book is also compilation of my fortnightly columns, a book called Issues and Views, or the book called As I See. That's a sterling publication.
Okay.
So then I moved on to write another book, recently released, is a book called Broom and Groom.
Okay.
Broom and Groom is about civility, civil behavior, saying broom, broom and groom. So that's a later release just 2 months ago. You can go to the website also, Broom and Groom. That's co-authored with an author called Pawan Chaudhary, who's a great thinker in India. So that's a lovely document of the mistakes we make in communications and in our behavior. So these are about the books I've been regularly writing.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. I'm writing now another one on leadership. Let's see it comes. But that's been working with me over the years. The draft has been made and redrafted and redrafted. But the fact is that writing is a constant companion.
So, Kiran, you not only broke the glass ceiling, but you went way beyond. And you have actually become an epitome of bravery and courage. And some very well-known examples are when you towed away Indira Gandhi's car, when you handled a mob of 3,000 militants with one stick in your hand, and the way you handled the Tihar jail. So my question to you is, what is the source of your strength? And also, what is your message to the women out there who are trying to break the glass ceiling day after day after day, even today, even in the US?
You know, just as you recharge your mobile phone every day, don't we?
Yeah.
We recharge our computers. We believe that recharging is only external. We forget recharging is actually internal.
And how do you
recharge it?
Yeah.
By plug it at the right place.
Okay.
You got to plug this spiritually. You have to plug this with the right thinking. You have to plug this in right attitudes. Every day in the morning when you get up, to say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, sunshine. You've given me another day. And it is to make it better than yesterday. So it's your own thinking, your powerful thinking. And not just get up to say, oh God, I'm exhausted and I'm tired. Oh Lord, another day. Well, that's where you're discharging. So I would think we must understand not just the external factor of charging, but the internal energy, internal strength, which has to be recharged every day by right attitudes, by right habits, by right discipline, by right time management, right? By right decision making. As I said, I was telling Anu on my way, happiness is a decision.
Oh, okay.
Happiness is a decision. Charging yourself is a decision, which you decide to decide.
Quite inspiring. Kiran, you have led an amazing life, an exemplary life of public service. You have made your mark in history as a fearless trailblazer who transformed lives. And your work will continue to give back. It will continue to make a difference. And you will forever remain a source of inspiration to women around the world. What have you gained from this experience? And how has it affected your life and your soul?
I am because of this. I don't need to ask for anything more. Because the more you give, the more it comes back to you. And the more I've given, the more, I don't know, without asking, has been coming back. So what more do I want? But I do believe that every day has a higher purpose. Every day has a value. And I don't give to get. I give because giving is a habit.
No, we also come from a family which 250 years ago, we had the Peshawaria Dharamsalas. And my great-grandfather from years has been doing the same thing.
Wow.
And our father has brought this spirit in us.
Mother
and father. Every morning he would ask us, what have you done today for others? Wow. Every morning. So we had to tell him. Yeah. And unless we were ready with that answer, we couldn't do anything else.
So it's in our genes.
Now, Kiran, if you will indulge us, I would like to get some quick answers from you, which our viewers will find very insightful and interesting. So let me ask you, first of all, who is your hero?
Oh, nobody other than my mother and father.
Okay.
Truly my mother. Hero is somebody I love and I miss. Is my mother and my father.
Okay. And your favorite book?
The Gita.
Okay. Biggest challenge in life that you faced?
Challenge? I didn't wait to see it's a challenge. I just did it.
It turned it into an opportunity.
Yeah, I look around for opportunities.
Okay.
And I find the answers.
Most gratifying experience?
There have been so many. Life is just full of every moment of gratitude. I live in gratitude.
Okay. Biggest regret?
Peshawaria name?
I know, I think so. You're so right. I was Kiran Peshawaria, like Anu is.
Yeah, I remember that.
Got dropped in the process. I was Kiran Peshawaria Bedi. And then for people's brevity needs, I became Kiran Bedi, which is very, very nice. Very
What's
blessed.
wrong with Peshawaria?
I know. Somehow it got lost. But so
you should have kept it.
I know, I should have kept it.
Okay, that's your regret.
Yeah, it is my regret.
Okay.
But it's also my gain that I got a Bedi. But it's also my regret that I lost my Peshawaria.
You can still add.
Yeah, I can add. Yeah.
She did add. It is others who dropped it.
So, do you watch movies?
Yes, I do.
And which is your favorite movie?
Oh, I've watched only useful movies. And last movie which I loved seeing was People Live.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I loved it, and I laughed in it.
Farmers.
I love a lot of my Amir Khan's movies.
Okay. Who's your favorite actor?
He is my favorite actor.
Okay.
That's true.
An actress?
Kajol.
Okay. Great. And biggest myth about you?
Oh, the myth is probably she could, myth could be, well, she could probably cook a lunch for us. I would never do. I'll take you out for lunch. If there's a myth that probably she could be a great host,
yeah, if they
make a
came
lunch.
home,
I'll take you out for
them.
dinner. I'll take you out for dinner.
Okay.
Or I'll serve you easiest breakfast for lunch.
Which is what?
Which is milk, cocoa milk, bonvita, fried egg, and a lovely toast.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. And what would be your legacy?
I think all that I tried to do was create systems. In anything I did was leave systems behind which were carried forward. There's nothing which I did, I recall, which hasn't left a system and moved on. Like law enforcement systems, crime prevention systems, police welfare, new training modules, meditation in prisons, meditation in policing, right? And then the drug abuse treatment programs. These are all new things which have all moved on and become systems. And then now is going to be the community college movement, which must become pan-India to save millions from unemployment.
Okay, wonderful. Kiran, thank you so much. I thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you again. Anu, thank you very much also, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Manjula.
That's all we have for you today. Our guests were Dr. Kiran Bedi and Anu Peshawaria. Dr. Bedi is a legendary police officer and activist of international acclaim. And Anu Peshawaria, her sister, is the first legal advisor to the Indian Embassy in Washington, D.C., and a social activist as well. You may watch this show again at chaivithmanjula.org. Thank you all for joining us. I'll be back with another inspiring story about giving and people making a difference. For Chai with Manjula, I'm Manjula Gupta. See you next time.